Welcome to another game night edition of Schuck on a Truck. I'm Muddy River Sports Editor Matt Schuckman, hanging out in Macomb tonight, where the Bombers are up 52-0 at halftime on Farmington. Unexpected and wow is all I can say about that first half. I'm hanging out with Tony Westen, former Macomb coach, Macomb resident, Macomb athlete, wearing your Bombers gear.
Absolutely.
You're all over it.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think there's anybody that expected this.
No.
We're confident in our football team. We know we have a lot of weapons. We know we have a dynamic defense. We have a phenomenal coaching staff. But this is probably beyond our expectations. This is as good as I've seen a Macomb team play in a dozen years anyway.
Well, it's interesting. It's the first time they're going to end up winning this game. So they're going to be 5-0. It's the first time, I'm going to make sure I get it right, 2012, where they won 9 games. But they would started that year 7-0. This is the only other time in the last 25 years they'll be 5-0.
Yep.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a really good Farmington football team. Toby's a phenomenal football coach.
Yeah. Well, they're such a good program. Year in and year out, they're good.
You know, and you and I were talking earlier, I think if you play this game 100 times, you don't get this result
right.
again. It's one of those things where the snowball starts and it happens.
When you come out here on a Friday night and you see the turf field and the new bright orange end zones that have been fixed up and you see everything that's going on here, how proud are you to be part of the Macomb history?
It's phenomenal. I mean, I'm 48 years old at this point. I've been here for most of it. Was brought back by Steve Horrell in 2002. Excuse me. And now I have a 10-year-old little girl that gets to come out and play on this. And I've seen kids grow up that are now teachers and officers and car salesmen and everything else that I had as athletes. And to see all these things popping up, and hopefully the new press box will be in place next year.
Right, and the plans are in place to make that happen.
The new middle school coming up. I mean, things are good, but most importantly, it's about feeling the pride in the schools, feeling the pride in the community, and just seeing everybody pull together and kind of move in one direction.
What makes Macomb special for you?
It's family, and that's not limited to people with the last name of Westen. When you're here as long as we have, I'm a Westen. We have phenomenal friends in the area. Like I said, Steve Horrell brought me back. I think there's times where I feel like my last name is Westen Horrell. I know I've popped into his living room before, and he and Trish have walked out and just been like, "Oh, hey," saying I'm not the only one to do that.
That's a guy I know that if I need something or if I just want to drop in, he's there.
Yeah, well,
and I've known him. Like we were talking about earlier, I've known him 35 plus years.
Well, I can tell you the last 4 years, when we've gone through stuff in our family, I've spent a lot of time in his office, and there's never a question. There's never as soon as he saw me, he just shut the door.
Yeah.
So, Steve's a very important guy in my life. Pretty much everybody on this coaching staff is very important in my life. And, Macomb, so family, but it's just the people. I mean, it's a great example of a small town where people are good, people are kind-hearted, and it's a very diverse area, and I just love the people.
I've had the pleasure over the years of coming up here to cover events. Like I said, I've known Steve for a long time. Kelly Sears when he was coaching. Got to know Kelly really well. It's always been very welcoming for me, for a guy from Quincy, to be welcome here to cover stuff and write about the Bombers and do the things I do.
I think I'm wrong, though. As you were just sitting there saying that, I think the people are second.
Okay.
I think the number one thing is the Macomb High School wrestling program.
I can see that.
My wife would, if she saw this and said, she'd be like, "Well, you're lying. It's the wrestling program first." All right, that's fair.
Well, and you know what? I know we're sitting here talking football and enjoying a great night of Friday Night Lights. Let's going to kind of be fun this winter for the Bombers on the wrestling mat.
Yeah, it is. And I tell you what, United States just had the Worlds. The women put on a phenomenal show. I don't know if you caught any of that.
Saw a little bit.
19-year-old from California went through the World Championships, didn't give up a point,
yeah.
and tech-falled her opponent from Kazakhstan.
That's kind of impressive.
That's ridiculous.
Isn't it?
And
wow.
then the men, there's a couple of matches they'd like to have back, but they won the team title by 50 points. I mean, so that gets a guy like me jacked up. And Luke, Coach Ladd and I were texting back and forth, and Coach Horrell, and it's just, oh my gosh, it's like I want to get through. I mean, not get through. That's the wrong word. I want to enjoy the football season and the long run, but at the same time, I'm ready to get in with the mats. We're gonna, the kids are gonna start training here pretty soon that aren't in fall sports, and it's time to gas up the truck and. Yeah.
Well, I know you got your hands on a lot of things involving Macomb, but one fun thing I think you probably have fun with is coming out here on Friday nights and broadcasting the games with Justice Keys.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. What a great kid. And,
no doubt.
So driven from such a young age, and I'm honored that he wants me to be a part of that. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I've been the announcer at a couple of games. That was fun. I think I throw people off guard because I don't hide the enthusiasm and the passion very well. So there were people on the square that were like, it was like the speakers were at the square. So I don't know if they want me to do that again, but it was fun for me. And I would slip in my sister's business and my brother's businesses.
Hey, why not?
I sure did.
Why not? You could slip them in here. I'd be fine with that. Do you find yourself coaching though when you're on the air or when you're broadcasting?
I don't, and I don't because, I mean, shoot, to be honest, with Dave Wilson running the defense and Tanner running the offense, my job was really an administrator in that spring season, which was my last time.
Right.
And let those guys do their things, and obviously we'd have our meetings and we'd make sure we're all on the same page, but they are so in control, and I have so much faith and love for those guys that I'm a fan. I would say, because I don't think it's any secret to anybody watching or anybody that knows me that I'm a wrestling guy. I was a wrestling guy. I'm still a wrestling guy. I'm very proud of how much I learned through that process. Mm-hmm. So now I watch football differently. And I think when we're announcing, but for me, it's more about getting caught up in the individual storylines with the individual kids, But yeah, no, it's pretty easy for me to be a fan.
My job, your job as a teacher, coach, and all those things is about the kids. That's why I do what I do. That's why you do what you do. So it's easy to get caught up in those storylines.
Well, I had a pretty good role model in Brody Westen as far as those things. So I learned that pretty early on, that it's not about you, stupid. Like I can't, I've heard that before.
Well, that's awesome. Well, hey, man, I know we're getting ready. The teams are coming back out on the field to warm up for the second half. Thanks for taking the time to do this.
Oh,
it was a blast.
I appreciate everything you do for local athletes, and I would like to just throw out, stay tuned in the winter. It's going to be an exciting winter here in Macomb, too.
And make sure you check out Muddy River Sports. We'll give you coverage of wrestling as well as basketball throughout the winter. And we'll have some coverage of tonight's game. I still look at that scoreboard and go, wow.
It's unbelievable. I can't believe it.
I can't.
It's real, though. I mean,
well, I guess Coach Horrell will let me come back.
Yeah, I think
I didn't jinx him tonight.
Quite honestly, I don't know about let. I think that you're required. I think we're going to make a Schuck parking spot right here.
Hey, I would love it. Hey, man, I appreciate it. We'll do it again.
You got it, brother.
Thanks, man. For Tony Westen, I'm Matt Schuckman. This has been another episode of Schuck on a Truck.